What's up, guys? And here, and for today's Deck Tech Thursday, I am proud to show you guys my Zygarde deck. Now, many reasons I decided to build this deck. One, I miss Lucario EX. I really miss Lucario EX, and Zygarde is kind of like Lucario in a lot of ways. And also, I've been messing around with it, and I figured decks like this would be dead without Karina. They're not. Yeah, fighting decks are not all dead whatsoever. They still have plenty of viability. You just gotta be a little bit creative, like I was with this deck. And once again, very happy to show you guys this deck today. And without delay, we get started. Now, first of all, run 4 copies of Zygarde EX, the main player of the deck, who has 3 attacks, pretty unique for a Pokemon, but they're very good attacks. For a single fighting, does Lance Pulse 20, and there's a Stadium in play, does 20 more damage, so potential 40 for a single energy is pretty good, not to mention all the ways you could boost this up. And also, Cell Storm's gonna be the main attack you use the most. We'll do 60 and he'll heal 30 damage for himself. And there'll be times we use Land's Wrath for 100 for 3 energy. Now, that's what I mean, like, it's very reminiscent to Lucario because of all that. Honestly, I would love to have done a Lucario Zygarde deck, but once we get that Lucario EX reprints, which I know we're gonna get eventually. And also, one more thing to mention about Zygarde that's pretty unique as well is it has 190 HP. Has that little bit more HP than most other Pokemon EX, which is very good with fighting Fury Belt and stuff like that. So, that takes care of Zygarde. Alright, next up I run 3 copies of Carbink and 3 copies of Carbink Break. Now, I've been thinking about running 2 Carbink with the Safeguard and one of the Power Keeper one to protect your energy, but I'm finding out that right now Safeguard is just very important to have. But Power Keeper might, the one that saves your basic energy, might come in handy for decks that use hammers and any other energy removal. So if you guys feel like taking one of these out for one of those, that's fine. But I'm saying, since this is like currently an EX format, I'm being safe with 3, but who knows, I might decide to put one of the power one in here later on. But yeah, good ability to protect yourself from EXs, but Carbink Break here is like basically the backbone of this deck, where for a single fight energy, 20 damage, but pay no attention to that damage output, because the real amazing part is that gets 2 of any energy from the discard, and you can attach it to one of your fighting Pokemon, which is just amazing. That's any energy at all, basic or special, like even double colorless if you wanted to. You could use that to attach. So in this case, it would be strong energy. So even if they do remove energy from you, you never really have to worry too much with Carbink Break. Not to mention, it's probably one of the best ones we have, mainly because this goes in an evolution from a basic line. So Carbink Break is basically a stage 1, while most of the other breaks are like essentially stage 2, stage 3. So yeah, very good indeed to have. Just gonna get those out of the way. And another key part of this deck is going to be 3 copies of Regirock EX with that amazing ability Regipower, to where your fighting Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, not including Regirock EX, of course. Basically, this is the fighting version of Deoxys EX for Plasma decks, so very good, but you do not want to start with this guy. No, which is why I run plenty of ways to get him out of the active if Primal Fish forbid he ever gets there, so. But yeah, 3 is like the perfect line. 2 I feel is a little too little, and 4 is definitely way too much. But 3 I feel is perfect. And last but certainly not least, run 2 copies of the Meta Shaman EX. Very good card to have. Bench it, draw up to 6. Too good not to have in this deck whatsoever. Yeah, and that's one of the things that makes this deck more expensive now, because with fighting decks, I used to run Lucario over that, because it was the same thing but in a powerful attack. But we unfortunately don't have Lucario now, so gonna have to stick with Shaman. But hopefully we should get a Shaman reprint. I'm really hoping we get a Shaman reprint, because as much as I love these guys, sorry Meta Boys, but you are way too pricey. And I fully agree with you guys. I know a lot of you say that Shamans are too pricey, and trust me, I get it. I'm fully with you on that. But until Pokemon makes the reprints, we just gotta do our best with these. So just 2 copies of that, and that will do it for my Pokemon. Now to our supporters, the typical 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, discard your hand, draw 7, and with that, 3 copies of yours truly, still, yeah, amazing, amazing supporter here. And amazing person, might I add. Okay, terrible jokes aside. But yeah, your standard draw supporter line. So, and no, I do not have full art Sycamores. Makes me sad. I know. I really wish we would get like a new full art N, but I don't see that happening. And now for my one-up supporters, I run 1 copy of Lysander just to bring out a bench Pokemon. 1 copy of Ninja Boy, especially since I run Shaymins to get those out. And 1 copy of Delinquent, just to discard maybe say a stadium you're not using or your opponent's stadium to mill 3 cards from their hand. So very, very good in that aspect. And that's it for my supporters. I don't run Hex Maniac in this deck, mainly because you don't ever want your ability shut down, especially with Carbink and Regirock. So no Hex Maniac in this deck whatsoever. All right, now on to our items. And there's a lot. So just gonna start here with 4 copies of Ultra Ball, standard reasons. Discard 2 cards from your hand, look for any Pokemon you want, ranging from EXs to non-EXs, breaks, anything you want. So, and I'm almost convinced that we are never going to lose this card ever because of the countless, like almost every other set this card gets reprinted. So I don't think we have to worry about us losing Ultra Ball for a very long time. And if we do, it's gonna be a long time for now. I can almost promise you that much. All right, so next up, 4 copies of VS Seeker. Now another reprint I think needs to happen because these are pretty pricey for uncommons, but not to worry because with the new Battletech decks coming out, there are VS Seekers in there, so makes them a little easier to access. But yeah, very, very good. Cannot run anything without 4 VS Seekers. Just getting a supporter from your discard is just too good in this format. All right, next up is going to be 4 copies of Trainer's Mail. Again, obvious stuff. Look at the top 4 of your deck. Search out any trainers you might need. Just too good to pass up. And luckily, this card's not ridiculously expensive like everything else either. So, at least not right now. But especially compared to all the other stuff, this card's really not too bad. All right. Now I'm going to be running 3 copies of Fighting Fury Belts. Now this card is amazing for Zygarde because as you see right here, like I showed you guys earlier, he has a 190 HP, pretty good. Now attach a Fighting Fury Belt to it and boom, that is a whopping 230 HP. That is higher than most Megas in the format. So with this, Zygarde becomes basically a tank. Like he truly becomes the Gundam with Fighting Fury Belt. He's such a massive tank with that. Not to mention adding 10 more damage with Regirock and Strong Energy. That adds up like crazy. So yeah, and that I forgot to mention it's plus 40. Sorry about that. Got a little carried away there with that. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Fighting Fury Belt does 10 more damage for basics and it gives you plus 40 health to your basics. And next up, I'm going to be running 2 copies of Power Memory. Now, if you only want to run 1 copy of Power Memory, that's perfectly fine. I can understand that. But I figured 2 is going to be pretty good because of the fact that I run 4 Zygarde. Now, if you guys decide that 4 is too much and you want to run 3, then yeah, I would definitely recommend cutting one of these because 2 of these with 3 Zygarde is definitely too much. But Power Memory is pretty good, and not to mention, it's squishy, guys. It is squishy. Why would you not want to run squishy? But no, not to mention, All Cells Burn is a really good one. Because for those of you guys who've been in the game for a while, it's basically Genesec's G Booster, except it doesn't pierce anything, which kind of sucks. But on a good note, it's not an ace spec, so you can run multiple copies of it. So very good. Not to mention, we got some pretty tanky Pokemon, especially those Megas in the format right now. So Power Memory is just a good ditch effort to one-shot them. And not to mention, even though you have to discard 3 energy, you have Carbink Break to get it all back, so it's really not a bother whatsoever. All right, and now for my switching cards, I run 2 copies of Switch and 2 copies of Floatstone. Now, you've got some pretty bulky Pokemon with some pretty hefty retreat costs, especially the Regirock, because as I mentioned before, you do not ever want to start with a Regirock or have your Regirock in the active at all. So that's why I run these. You just attach these to your Regirocks, just in case they ever get into the active, you can just retrieve them for free, especially now in a standard format where there's no way to remove tools. Once you get the float snow on there, you're pretty set. So, and switch cards, just obvious reasons, switched one of them off. So, yeah, pretty good. All right. Now this is, I just want to say quickly, this is definitely a card we are never going to lose. For those of you guys new into the Pokemon TCG game, Switch has, I believe, never gone out of rotation. It's something that's been here since base sets, and to my knowledge, it has never, ever left the standard format. So, fun little fact there for you guys, especially those who are new into the game. And next up, and now going to my stadiums, just running 3 copies of Scorched Earth, just to get rid of a fighting energy from your hand and draw an additional 2. Good way to draw cards without wasting your supporter or Shebe. Now, unfortunately, we do not have Fighting Stadium anymore, which would have been so amazing in this format, but that's okay. We can make do just fine without this, because you know why? Because we are awesome players, and we use our creative brains to figure out ways to make stuff work and make stuff work well. So, just 3 copies of Scorched Earth, and that's all for the stadiums I run. And now we go into our energy. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 basic fighting energy, and your usual 4 copies of strong energy. Now, strong energy is just to add additional 20 damage to your fighting Pokemon's attacks. So let's do a quick little count here. You got that. Let's say you have a Zygarde on here, and you have fighting Fury Belt. We're just gonna do it with Lance Pulse. Just give you guys the maximum damage output possible for just a single energy. All right, now we're going to get our Regirocks out. Now, we're just gonna say 2 Regirock out, because getting 3 out, not impossible, but it's a little difficult to do. So you're normally gonna have 2 Regirock on the bench. All right, so let's do damage calculation. So 20, automatic 40 right here because you have a stadium, 60 for the strong energy, 70 for fighting Fury Belt, 80 and 90, guys. 90 damage for a single fighting energy. Like, what? Single energy, guys, right here. Just 1 energy and you're already dealing 90 damage. And let's kick it up even more. Let's go right here. Let's make it a basic fighting energy. Not even another strong energy. Let's be a little more realistic here. All right, so that's 60, 80, 90, 100, 110. And you're healing off 30 damage. Like, just mind-blowing. All right. That's not enough to impress you all? All right, let's go a little bit further here. Let's get Squishy into the mix. Let's get Power Memory up in here. And let's say you have the 3 energy. And we're gonna make that one a basic energy as well. All right. Matter of fact, yeah, we're gonna make all of them basic, just because I want to show you guys the minimum of what you can do and just how amazing it would be. So, all cells burn, you would discard these 3 energy. It would do 200, 210, 220. Most megas only have 220 HP. And as you guys see, that's just with 2 Regirock and 3 basic energy. Let's just take this right here. This is 240 now. 240 with Power Memory and 2 Regirock and a single strong energy. And that is incredibly easy to do with card being break. Like, just, this deck just has the power like crazy. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised I didn't play this deck before, just because, man, the damage output this deck has. And again, it's not even like I exaggerated and did like all the maximum stuff. I went bare minimum. With your bare minimum stuff, you could be hitting for 240. That's just say if you have a 3rd Regirock and you have more strong energy attached to it, just the damage output this thing can do against those really bulky ones. Man, Zygarde can one-shot a Whale Lord when played correctly. So just, Zygarde is definitely a power hitter and definitely a force to be reckoned with. So there you guys have it. This has been my Zygarde deck profile. If you guys like this profile, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And stick around tomorrow where I take on Professor K's Volcanion deck, another very, very hard hitter, which I have actually had not too much success with my other decks, but I haven't played against Zygarde yet, so who knows? Will my streak continue, or will Volcanion just overpower me tomorrow? Who knows? You guys just got to wait and stick around tomorrow to find out. So, this has been N from the Pokemon Evolutionaries, and I'll catch you guys later.